welcome to my channel. Today we're going to use ViaCAD 14 to edit my small enclosure to be approximately 20 millimeters larger in the X and Y axis. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we'll select the old enclosure. Copy and paste it. We'll bring the enclosure down. I'm doing it this way because it's much easier and I like the wall thicknesses, and it allows me to create it without doing a lot of changes to the wall thicknesses and to my mounting holes. All right, so we need to split these two into quadrants. So we'll select the lid. This is the lid that has the little cutouts for the relay boards. Let's go back to top. All right, first thing we want to do is we need something to cut these with. We'll use infinite planes. The first place that we'll cut is on the X axis. We'll select the midpoint here. See if we can get it to choose the midpoint. All right. We'll go down and take a look. Yep, that's where it is. So we want to make sure that we select off of that. We'll select the cut tool, select our lid, and then select the plane. It gives us a nice cut down the center. All right, let's do the same thing to our base. Go back to our top view, put our infinite plane at the midpoint on our x-axis. I like to look at it from the side, so again we'll select off the infinite plane. We'll select the cut tool, select the base, and then for the cutting tool, we'll select the plane. All right, we've got to split down the middle, both the top and base. Now let's go to cutting it on the y-axis. So we'll go back to the top. Again, we'll choose our y planes. Choose the midpoint here. Oops. Let's undo that. Need to check the y-axis. Check the midpoint. All right, there it is on that one. And we'll create one over here on the midpoint of this one. You may ask yourself, why did I not just use this one for this one? Because I'm not positive that this one would be at the midpoint of this one. So it's much more accurate in this manner. So let's use our arrow, click off of that. Our cut tool, choose this side, choose the plane, choose this side, choose the plane, choose the base, choose the plane, choose the base, choose the plane. All right, that looks pretty good. What I like to do is I like to go in and delete the infinite planes after this. Delete, 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 delete. All right, so let's start moving our objects. Let's choose this one. We're going to find that arrow key. Let's move it down 20 millimeters. Since we have an object over on this side, we'll move it to the left 20 millimeters. All right, that's our larger enclosure, or the beginnings of it. To link up these two sides, we're going to use the extrude feature, which I already have selected. We'll come over here and choose this portion, or this face. We're going to extrude it out 20 millimeters. We'll do the same up here, 20 millimeters. Now we're going to go down here and set it to join booleans or join objects. We'll choose each part, join them together. Now we have one cohesive piece there. Choose that, choose this insert, choose that, choose insert. Now we need to do one last extrusion for the top, 20 millimeters, perfect. Join, and we'll join. All right, let's do the same thing for the base. We'll start off at the top. I'm going to say that these need to go down 20 millimeters. And then since we have the object to the left, we're going to increase this size 20 millimeters. All right, so again, we're going to join each of the pieces with an extrude. Join, 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 join. Do an extrude here. Join and join. That looks pretty good. All right. I think that these pieces need an additional screws or an additional bosses. So rather than create all new bosses, I'm going to use the cut feature again and create the bosses. So we'll go back to the top. We'll use the infinite plane. This time we're going to be on the z-axis. It doesn't really matter where we do it. It's always going to choose the very highest object to place the plane. Uh, we did it right there. Let's take a look at it. Well, that time I put it on the bottom. All right, we'll work with that. Now I'll tell you what, let's do that over. We'll go to the top again. We'll choose our infinite plane. We'll do it on top of one of these to make sure that we are on the top layer. Choose the top again. I want the infinite plane to be at the base. I know that from the top of the bosses to the bottom plate, it is 5.5 millimeters. So we'll go down to 5.5 millimeters. All right. And now we'll do the same cut again, this time using that infinite plane. So we'll choose our cut tool. All right. Choose that. And then we'll choose that plane. I will not let me choose the plane. All right, let's do this. Back up. Let's look at the front to make sure we have our measurements correctly. Turn on the wire mesh. Oh, that boss is just a hair bit shorter. So let's get an accurate measurement on that. So we'll go from the top to the base, 5 millimeters. All right. So now that we know that measurement, let's turn the solids back on, or the textures back on. We'll choose that infinite plane. We'll go down 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters. And then we'll move it out so we can see that sucker. Back off a little bit. All right. So now we'll do our cut. Choose the base, choose the plane. All right, perfect. Did the cut as expected. So we'll go up to the top again. All right. So we'll choose our boss. These are all perfectly spaced out. We'll measure them here in a minute. But I will do a control copy paste. Bring it down to the center. We'll do another over here. Copy paste. Bring it down to the center. Oops. Copy paste. Bring it down to the center. All right. So now we need to line it up to the center of our base. The way we'll do that with it is the align tool. So first we want to do it vertically. All right. We choose the base. Hope I did that incorrectly. Hold on just a second. Click off of it. We want to be centered at the boss. So we choose it first, then we do the align, and then we choose the midpoint as a point to align it to. All right, let's choose the other. Align tool, choose the midpoint. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and get rid of that plane. There we go. It's gone. Do the top again. All right, that looks pretty good. Um, these holes are not M4, they're made for M2 screws. Uh, I'd like them to be a little bit uh, larger because I want to do the M4 screws here. And these holes over here are for M4, but pass through. So we just need a circle that's a little bit smaller than that. And I can't remember the dimensions. So we'll just go here and make a circle for it real quick. And we find out that it's a diameter of 3 millimeters. So 2.5 millimeters would work. All right, we'll delete that circle. All right, now we need to make one with a set diameter. So if we do 2.5, do center of that boss, center of that boss, center of that boss, center of that boss. Right. Now we need to go around and select all of our circles. I'm selecting these while holding down the shift key so that it allows me to select multiple. All right, so we want to do an extrude real quick. Anything more than 5 millimeters, if you remember, that's what we measure those bosses to be, will work. So it looks like we're at 20. We hit enter. There we are. Now we need to take these, bring it down approximately 5 millimeters. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is join the bosses to our base. So choose that one, 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 choose that one. All right, they should all be joined now. Check real quick. Yes, they're all joined. All right, now we need to do a cut to make our holes a little bit larger. So we'll choose our base, and then we'll choose the cutting objects. Which are those? Perfect. Now our holes should be a little bigger. Let's take a top-down look. They all should be 2.5 millimeters. Do a quick check. 2.5 millimeters. Perfect. All right. So now um, I don't. I want a third hole for these pass-throughs to secure the top on to the enclosure. So what I'm going to do is use the cut tool again with the x-axis, cut one of these off, and bring it down to the center to replicate, and then we'll go from there. So first thing we'll do is choose our infinite plane. We'll choose the X station because we're going to do it on the X-axis. I turn it to the side so that I can get uh, right there. Where did my plane go? And of course, it put it on the outside. All right, so let's fix that. So we'll go back to view, go to the top. We'll see how large that wall thickness is. I can't remember right off. So I like to go to the midpoint again. 2.5 millimeters. All right, so we need to move that infinite plane over 2.5 millimeters. Move it up. I like to be precise if I can. And then over negative 2.5 millimeters. All right, let's view the top again. All right, let's put it right on it. Let's see how it works. All right, so we'll choose the cut tool, choose this part, and choose that surface. If we doing everything correctly, looks like we are. So let's copy and paste that. We'll move it to the center. Again, we use our align tool. Choose the one we just created. We'll move it to midpoint. Perfect. It's choosing the midpoint of our surface there. That's the reason it wasn't lining up. All right. So let's do the same thing on this side. All right. So we need to create another infinite plane. Perfect. Use the cut tool. Choose that. Choose the surface. All right. View the top. You need to select part. We'll do copy paste, and then we'll align it to the center or midpoint again. They're both lined up perfectly. All right, now we need our holes to go all the way through these. So we'll do a circle, 2.5. Needs to be 3 millimeters on these, and a 3 millimeter hole here. Extruding 20, 20. The pieces that we created already have the holes, so all we need to do is continue it all the way through the base. We do select that one, select that one. We'll make sure it just goes all the way. Oh, grab the wrong arrow. Again. There we go. Now we need to do another cut feature. So that, translate, that, translate. All right, let's take a look at our work. Top. All right, now it just needs to be all joined together. Um, you can do that by just selecting everything at once. Thought we could, but it's not liking that. All right, everything looks good from the top. Got new bosses, new holes. Let's take a look at it from the bottom. We have these nice little chamfers that takes our M4 machine screws really well, fleshes them up. So let's make some chamfers here. Whoa, nope, 1.5. Yep, that's what it was. Yep. All right, we'll do another chamfer here. Perfect. Go up here and save as. We'll name this V2 for now. That way, if I mess up here with the top, then we'll still have our model. All right, let's look at the bottom again. And we've got those holes there. Now we need some here. Let's see if we can do the same thing that we did before. It's going to be a little more tricky because as you see here, these have these nice little chamfers for when if I decided to injection mold these, I would have that. Let me think about this for a second. I can cut it there. Hmm, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause the recording for a minute. Sorry about that, but I think I've figured it out. It's a little easier than I thought it was going to be. We'll choose our infinite planes again on the Y station. Put a plane there. Let's make sure that we have that on exactly on that endpoint. We'll do the same over here. Perfect. All right. So now we'll choose the cut tool. We'll cut it on this plane. We'll cut it on that plane. Right now we have both of our holes. We'll do a copy paste, and we'll move it down a little bit, and then we'll set the line tool. We can't do the line tool yet because it will give us a false reading. So let's do this. We'll do the join first. choose that, join it to that, we'll choose that, we'll join it to that. So our piece is still loose. See how it moves up and down? Alright, so now we need to align that to our piece here. Alright, we'll do a join and then we'll check it. Perfect. We already have our holes because we just copied and moved it down. Where it's joining, it looks like it joins pretty well. Let's take our measurements. Center of that to the center of that, 37.180. Right. Center of that to the center of that, 37.320. Well, that's not right. Let's do this. Center there, center there, 250, 37.250. Alright, so this one's not aligned. Okay. Confirm that by measuring these two. Yep, those are perfect. 37.250. Alright, so let's see where we messed up. We'll do a undo, 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 undo. Right. Choose that. Bring it up. That translate. Alright, let's make sure that this is perfectly centered. We'll hide our main piece. Go from the center to the edge. 6538. From center to the edge. 6538. Yeah, perfectly centered. Alright, let's bring our piece back. We're going to do an align. Choose that piece. And we will align the point. Right, before we join, this time we'll do our measurements again. Should be the same as this, which is 37.250 center. Perfect. All right, now let's choose a join. Again, we'll have center, center. Perfect. Don't know what happened that first time, but we got it corrected, so that's all that matters. All right. It has the hole there for the pass-through bolt or pass-through machine screw. I like the height of these because the relays fit nicely under the cover. There's no need to make it any larger. What I want to do though is I want to put one more boss right here in the center because these PCBs tend to flex. But I'm going to show you a different way to do it this time. So we'll choose that, choose the top, or excuse me, choose the top. All right. So we can extrude any face on this base. So we'll choose this boss, that face. But you see it did it 20 millimeters. We can choose the extrusion there. We want it to be 5 because if you remember last time that all of our bosses were 5 millimeters. All right. So now we'll go to the top view again and we'll align it to the midpoint. Oops. We'll set for vertically. So we'll undo that. We'll set it for horizontally. And we'll choose midpoint again. Oh, sometimes you have to choose it again. Perfect. But it's kind of floating out there, so we need to bring it down. Remember, our bosses are 5. We created it off this face, so it should be another 5 to the base. Just looking at to make sure it's good. Yep, looks good. Join. All right, and there you have it. Our new mid-sided enclosure. Thank you for watching.